In 1991, the world's seventh-largest bank simply vanished, and the FBI had been watching the whole time. The story everyone told was clean. The Bank of Credit and Commerce International failed because of fraud, rogue traders, corrupt managers, a few bad apples in the barrel. By 1992, that narrative had already calcified into textbooks and congressional reports. The bank was shut down. Key figures faced trial. Case closed. Except the trail of money never stopped moving. BCCI opened its doors in 1972. Agha Hassan Abedi, a Pakistani banker, founded it in Luxembourg. The bank promised something revolutionary, a global financial network that could move money anywhere, anytime, for anyone. Within 15 years, it had offices in 70 countries. Assets exceeded $20 billion. It was the fastest-growing bank in the world. Regulators in London, Luxembourg, and Washington all issued licenses. The bank's reputation seemed impeccable. It sponsored hospitals. It funded charities. Abedi cultivated relationships with presidents, generals, and sheikhs. The bank became a symbol of Islamic finance done right. That was the surface. Beneath it sat a parallel structure. BCCI operated two separate ledgers, one for regulators, one for clients, the real one. That hidden ledger processed transactions for the Shah of Iran, Ferdinand Marcos of the Philippines, Saddam Hussein, and Pablo Escobar. Cocaine proceeds flowed through accounts. Weapons shipments got financed. Terrorist organizations received wire transfers. The CIA knew. Internal memos from 1986 flagged BCCI as a laundry for drug money and intelligence operations. The DEA had files. British intelligence had files. But BCCI had something more valuable than secrecy. It had protection. The bank hired former CIA officers. It paid retainers to intelligence agencies. In some cases, BCCI was the intelligence operation. Covert funding for the Mujahideen in Afghanistan flowed through its accounts. The US government didn't shut it down because, in certain circles, the bank was useful. In 1988, a federal prosecutor named Robert Morgenthau began asking questions. He was investigating drug trafficking in Manhattan. The trail led to BCCI. He subpoenaed records. The bank stonewalled. When he pushed harder, his investigation got quietly reassigned. Justice Department lawyers told him to stand down. The message was clear. Some banks were off limits. But Morgenthau didn't stop. He kept a separate file. He built his case quietly outside official channels. By 1990, he had enough. He coordinated with British authorities. On July 5, 1991, regulators in multiple countries moved simultaneously. BCCI doors closed. Accounts froze. The bank that couldn't be touched was suddenly untouchable in the opposite direction. The official investigation blamed internal mismanagement. A few executives took the fall. Abedi died in 1995, never tried. But the real story was different. BCCI didn't collapse because of fraud. It collapsed because a single prosecutor refused to accept the narrative his own government was selling. The bank had moved an estimated $15 billion for clients the U.S. government said it opposed. Yet those same agencies protected it for years. The protection ended only when the scale of the exposure became undeniable, not because the crimes were discovered, because they were about to become public. BCCI collapse exposed something deeper than one bank's misconduct. It revealed how deeply financial institutions were woven into covert state operations, how regulators had become gatekeepers not of law, but of plausible deniability, how the largest financial crimes could operate in plain sight because the right people benefited. After BCCI closed, reforms were promised. New regulations, better oversight, stricter audits, most never materialized. The institutions that failed to stop BCCI faced no consequences. The officials who looked away kept their positions. The system that enabled the laundering remained intact. What BCCI proved was this: The largest financial crimes don't happen despite regulation. They happen because of it. Because regulation, when controlled by the same institutions it's meant to police, becomes a tool for managing which crimes get exposed and which ones stay hidden. The real scandal wasn't that BCCI existed. It was that it had to be shut down by a prosecutor acting against his own government's interests. That it took years of pressure from outside the system to force action. That the people who knew and did nothing faced no reckoning. Subscribe so you don't miss the next financial collapse. The ones where the real story lies in what regulators chose not to investigate. Subscribe so you don't miss the next financial collapse. The ones where the real story lies in what regulators chose not to investigate.